Successful magnesium etching is not a complicated process. This video will take you through the 12-step process to produce high-quality magnesium dyes. Magnesium Electron's etching handbook and literature that you see here are also available by contacting your regional sales representative. The first step in the process is to store pre-sensitized plates in a cool, dark, and dry environment. This will ensure that plates don't get fogged and shelf life of 1 year can be achieved. Proper rotation of stock will ensure consistent performance of pre-sensitized magnesium. Coding dates in the form of a 6-digit code number and lot numbers of 4 digits are a great tool for rotating stock and reference for any technical issues that may arise. A good quality engraving is only as good as the film used to create it. Inspection for any dirt on film and glass of exposure unit will assure good solid images and clean background areas. Exposure with a UV light source is required for cross-linking coatings and is essential for successful etching. The use of the Stouffer step guide for determining proper exposure is critical. Magnesium Electron's PRC red top requires an exposure yielding a solid 6 to 7 step, while exposure of our aqueous line of magnesium products requires a solid step 9 to 11. Proper vacuum will provide intimate contact between the emulsion side of the film and the photoresists. PRC red top magnesium can be developed in vapor degreaser processors using trichloroethylene or in heated spray type processors using Magnesium Electron's ND developer. Red top resist can be developed in a dip tank or tray. By agitating in MD developer for 2 to 3 minutes and rinsing with fresh developer, a clean plate will emerge. Care should be taken not to mar the coating as you remove from developer solution. Plate can then be dried with a clean air spray. Developing AQ Blue and hydrosol photoresist can be done in a tray, dip tank, or spray processor. Magnesium Electron's cold developer can be used at room temperature, and hot developer can be heated to 100 degrees Fahrenheit. AQ Blue resist will develop in 60 seconds, while hydrosol will take about 3 minutes. Plates should be rinsed thoroughly to remove any excess developer with lukewarm water. Post-development of red top photoresist involves running cold water for 2 to 3 minutes for hardening the coating. Heating the developed plate at 250 to 300 degrees for a couple of minutes for burn-in also helps to harden the resist. Post-development of AQ Blue and hydrosol resist is done using a cold water rinse and even horizontal and vertical strokes with a soft clean pad. This helps remove any resist that may be left behind and assure crisp edges and clean screens. Plates can be dried with clean compressed air or padded with a clean soft cloth. Stouffer step guide reading of a solid 9 to 11 is best for AQ Blue and Hydrosolve. For fine lines and screens, a solid 11 to 12 will result in superior adhesion. A Stouffer step wedge reading of solid 6 to 7 is required for PRC red top. Touch up the finished plate before etching to fill in any flaws in image areas. Staging should be done on red top before burning in. AQ Blue and Hydrosolve do not require burn-in, but staging solution will adhere stronger if exposed to heat. Plate should be weighed on a scale capable of measuring to the nearest ounce. Record the initial weight on your magnesium electron etching log. This will be used after etching to determine your etch rate. Magnesium electron offers a variety of etch additives for your etching needs. Building a 200-liter bath requires adding 5% of total bath volume with etch additive, 20% of total bath volume with 42-degree Balme nitric acid, and 75% water. Properly maintaining circulation pump will guarantee uniform mixing of the bath. Clean machine thoroughly before building the bath. A clean machine will eliminate contamination problems, leading to dirt which will cause pimpling. Clamps should be wiped clean prior to etching. Cleaning the clamps eliminates any dripping of oil onto the mounted plate. This can lead to pimpling and areas of the plate that could completely blank out and not etch at all. Descumming the plates prior to etching will result in cleaner etches. Typical descum solution for red top is 5% 42-degree Balme nitric acid and 1.5% 14-degree Balme gum arabic, mixed with water to make a 4-liter solution. Apply solution liberally to plate and lightly rub with pad. Rinse and repeat this application. Finally, rinse with water. Descumming AQ Blue and Hydrosolve is done with a milder 1 to 3% solution nitric acid and water. Apply solution on plate and lightly rub with pad. Very light rubbing is preferred when dealing with fine lines and screens. Rinse plate with water after descumming. It's critical to prevent plate from oxidizing when clamping into plate holder. Plate should be kept wet with an application of Magnesium Electrons Express Guard plate protector prior to hanging on the plate holder. This will prevent oxidation, which causes pimples. Notice that the plate is still wet during this process to prevent from oxidation. Controlling the etching variables begins with this panel. The elements of time, temperature, etch rate is determined by the depth of the etch divided by minutes etched. An etch rate of 7 thousandths per minute is a good starting rate. It's a good idea to hit this rate with your first etch. As bath builds up magnesium, etch rate will tend to decrease. Control of these three variables, temperature, paddle speed, and acid concentration, will have a significant effect on shoulder definition, etch depth, and etch rate. When making a change to any of these variables, it is wise to limit that change to one variable at a time. The finished plates can be dried in a number of ways, but clean compressed air is the preferred choice of many engravers for drying. The plate can now be weighed again and recorded into the etch log. The amount of acid that will need to be replenished in bath can now be determined using the acid addition formula below. Total magnesium dropped in bath in ounces times 200 milliliters equals the acid replenishment. Here the etcher is checking the depth of his etch with his depth gauge. Acid is added to maintain level and bath balance. If desired, the photoresist can be removed from the plates as a final step. Red top requires a solvent or solvent blend stripper, while AQ Blue and Hydrosolve have their own aqueous top remover formulations. Finally, a light scrubbing is required to help lift the AQ Blue top.